Good morning, students. This is the time for computer class and I am a computer teacher. So now we are starting the lesson cyber security. So generally the word cyber security is mostly used in the computer terms. So first of all, we are going to discuss about information security. So what is information security? The first term that we are going to discuss over here is information security. So the information security is very critical and challenging nowadays as we mostly work online and on the network environment, so where it is very important for us to keep our data privacy, confidentiality and integrity of the data very secret so that the other person cannot know about it. So what are the different threats to the information security? The different threats to the information security are like virus attacks, spamming, phishing, hacking of informations, etc. So these are the different threats that are posed to the information security. So the first topic that we are going to discuss over here is virus. Virus. So what is virus? The full form of virus is vital information resource underseas. So this is the full form of virus. So the computer virus is similar to that of the biological virus. When a biological virus attacks you, it generally replicates in your body, makes us feel ill. It disrupts the normal functioning of our body. Similarly, the computer virus is also replicate itself. It affects the computer programs and files. It damages them and can stop the working also. So what is computer virus? We can say it is a program or a piece of code that is loaded in our computer and which disturbs the normal working of the computer. So virus is a computer program which abrupts the normal working of the computer. So now how does the virus attack and spread itself? So first of all, generally the virus, the major source of computer virus is internet. So a virus can enter in our computer without our knowledge. And even when we do the normal activities on web, like when we share the music files, like when we visit an infected website, like when we open a email spam, like downloading free games, installing mainstream softwares, etc. So in addition to this, the virus can also come through pen drive, CD, DVD, etc. Once the virus enters in our system, the file or document will remain inactive. Moreover, the virus starts damaging the computer, affecting the files, etc. The memory also get lost. Many of the times our password, important keywords or important information are lost or they are provided to other persons, etc. So what are the symptoms of virus? The normal symptoms of virus are that usually the unusual messages start appearing on the computer. The computer tends to run slower. The space on the disk is reduced. The application takes a long time to load. The files on the computer start missing. The hard disk has more files. Computer start rebooting. Computer often hangs. The computer tends to restart. The keys of the keyboard locks up and many more. So what are the hazards that are caused by virus? A computer virus generally we know is a piece of code, and some computer viruses are programmed to do the harms on the or to delete the files or to reformat the hard disk. And the other computer virus generally replicate themselves, and many of the times a particular file or a particular message get appear more than one times, which abrupts the networking process, makes the networking run very slow. So now we are coming to the topic, the types of computer virus. Types of computer virus. So the first type of computer virus is resident virus. Resident virus. So they are the permanent virus that reside in the RAM. So they can interfere and disrupt the normal working of the computer. They corrupt the files. So the examples of resident virus are like Jerusalem, 1/2, Junkie, Satin bug, etc. Next is the non-resident virus. So these viruses are similar to the resident virus except they do not reside in the RAM. Rather, they reside in the module of a program. So the next topic that we have is program virus. So what is program virus? So these virus infects the file with the extension like .exe, .com, .sys, etc. The program files are used by the virus as they are easy to attack and have a simple format. Next we have macrovirus. So what is macrovirus? Macrovirus is generally used on programming. So they are the commands that are written by the user which can be executed later. The data files are affected by these viruses. Macrovirus spread very fast. Some examples are Concept and Nuclear. The next virus that we have is Trojan virus. So passing the user data to someone else, generally this type of viruses is used. Next we have malware. So what is malware? It refers to a program which harms the computer and comes into the computer without the user consent. Even the user doesn't give the permission many times. So the malware is the short name of malicious software. It slows down the computer and network. Next is spyware. What is spyware? We can say it is a type of malware that is sent to someone's computer intentionally to steal password, login, etc. Next we have worms. So what is worms? We can say a virus is a program which is capable of reproducing or spreading itself to another computer system with the help of network. So this type of virus does not cause direct damage to the files. Large amount of memory and network is used by this virus and thus they make the networking very slow. And the last virus that we have is boot virus. It is not the last but the least over here. The boot record of the hard disks are infected by these viruses. They are more dangerous as the boot virus generally harms the programs of the boot disk. So some examples are disk killer and stoned virus. So these were the names of some of the viruses like resident virus, non-resident virus, program virus, macro virus, Trojan horse, malware, spyware, worms, boot virus. Now how can we guard our computer system against virus attack? Guarding our computer system against virus. So certain steps have to be taken to guard our computers. First of all, do not install or run the pirated software. Install antivirus software. Avoid copying or using files from unreliable sources. Always, when we are offline or online, always restrict to access to the computer system. Always take the backup copy. Always allow the trustworthy person or the person whom you know is faithful to you. Install a firewall program. Install anti-spyware softwares, etc. So these were some of the steps that we must take to protect our computer from the virus. Now installing firewall. So the first step to provide the security to the computer is firewall. Now what is firewall? Generally firewall creates a barrier between the computer and the unauthorized program trying to come in the internet. So it secures the system from spamming and phishing attacks. So firewall is an important thing that we should install in our system. Now antivirus. So what is antivirus? We can say as like virus is a program, similarly antivirus is also a piece of program. Generally that prevents the entry of virus into your computer system. So it generally detects the virus on the computer system and generally prevents it from entering into our system. Many of the times the antivirus starts up automatically. As soon as the computer is started up, it keeps running the files and programs. The software tries to remove the virus once it is detected. So there are many antivirus like Kaspersky antivirus, Avira antivirus, AVJ antivirus, McAfee antivirus scan, etc. Remember, the different versions of the antivirus are generally available. So always update your antivirus. because many of the times always we find the new virus on the system. So the antivirus should be updated to the recent version so that it can catch the viruses and can remove them. The next topic that we are going to have is ethics in computing. Ethics in computing. So here generally we have a term ethics. The ethics refer to the moral principles that governs when we are working on internet. So it refers to the behavior of the individuals or the group of individuals. So when we say computer ethics or ethics in computer, it means the moral principle which govern the use of computing and internet technology, like plagiarism, cyberbullying, hacking, phishing, spamming, software piracy, intellectual property rights. So these were some of the common issues that are mostly governed by computer ethics. So whenever we talk about computer ethics, it means the moral principles that we should follow while we are working on the internet or when we use the computer. So the first thing that we have over here is plagiarism. Plagiarism. So what is plagiarism? The word plagiarism comes from the Latin word which means kidnapping. So the plagiarism can be defined as taking the act or the work of another person without his knowledge or without his permission. So this is plagiarism. So there are mostly three types of plagiarism, like direct plagiarism, minimal plagiarism, mosaic or substantial plagiarism. So what is direct plagiarism? We can say it is a word-to-word copy of someone else's work without making any change in the original work. So this is direct plagiarism. Like we copy the project or the assignment of some other friends as no single word is changed over here. So this is direct or complete plagiarism. Next is minimal plagiarism. What do we over here? The original work is generally edited, reframed and reproduced. It is mostly used in educational field. And the third is substantial plagiarism. In this, the original work is used and certain works is also added to the original work so that the new works look a little bit changed. This is mosaic or substantial plagiarism. So what are the protective measures to prevent plagiarism? First of all, always cite the source of the text. Next, rephrase the text material to avoid plagiarism. Always promote innovative and original thoughts of yours which will help you. Remember that the precise document would be a waste of time. But you would waste a lot more trying to defend yourself against any type of plagiarism, and ensure that whatever you have taken from any of the text, generally write it in the double quotes, and you can also write over here that the text has been taken from the particular book written by particular persons. So these are the preventive measures to prevent plagiarism. The next topic that we have over here is cyberbullying or stacking. Cyberbullying or stalking. So cyberbullying or stalking is a bullying that takes the place using electronic technology. It happens when a person uses the electronic technology to harass someone by sending, threatening or intimidating messages. Examples of cyberbullying includes the mean text message or abusive emails, rumors, malicious post which is sent with the help of emails on or on social networking sites, etc. So what are the protective measures to prevent cyberbullying? First of all, do not respond to any unpleasant message or pictures. Next, if the problem created, do not feel ashamed or scared to discuss it with your parents or elders. With the help of adult, you can report to the cyber cell which punishes such types of people. Do not be a bystander, be an upstander. Means just don't keep looking over here. Try to help them as much as possible. And next, ensure that you do not bully others. So these were some of the preventive measures of cyberbullying. The next topic that we have is hacking and cracking. Hacking and cracking. So hacking refers to a technique that is used to gain the unauthorized access to a computer system or network, and in some cases making unauthorized use of his access. So the hackers are the person who are expert knowledge of the computer technology. So we can say the hackers are the expert of computer programmer who are not involved in any illegal practices. So we can also say the hacker as the white hat hacker or ethical hackers. Next term that we have is cracking. So they does the malicious work. The crackers do all type of mischiefs like break the login password, generally steals the data, softwares, etc., harms the computer system, change the data, etc. So the crackers are also known as black hat crackers or cyber criminals. The next topic that we have over here is spamming. Spamming. So what is spamming? The unwanted emails that come in large amount to us from the strange and unknown peoples, they are known as spamming. So it is the process of sending the same copies to a large number of people. Like many of the time we find the same advertisement which is repeated again and again. So we can say that it is a term like spamming. The next topic that we have over here is phishing. Phishing. So what is phishing? We can say it is a form of fraud in which the attacker tries to steal or tries to take out the important information like the bank details, the credit card, the logins, the password, etc. So the attackers generally appears to be known from a reputable institute or a person in the email who generally sends you an email, or it appears that the person is known to us and he asks the important informations. So in case of phishing attacks, the victim receives a message that appear to be sent by the known contact persons or an organizations. So the following points should be kept in mind in order to protect against spamming or phishing attack. Do not open the email from the unknown source. Do not open unknown attachment. Remove unwanted email from the box and clear junk files. Never respond to an email asking for personal details. Always keep updating your antivirus softwares, etc. The next topic that we are going to have over here is software piracy. Software piracy. So as the name shows, the software piracy refers to the unauthorized copying of some purchased software. Most software programs purchased a license and they are costly. So generally the software piracy is done to copy such licensed software so that they can be easily distributed or can be freely distributed. So these were some of the terms that we have discussed over here. So in the next videos, we will be discussing about the intellectual property rights and the digital footprints and the social networking problems that we are going to face over here, and how can we ensure the data security during e-commerce. Thank you.